Okay, searching for Valesca. In 2023 and 24, my partner Naomi and I spent hours searching for the grave of her grandmother, German-born Valesca Schulman Leiseroff. She died in 1972, and in 1974, her son Eric had her name added to a gravestone where she shared space with her brother Herman, who died in 1949. The memorial was in the Westchester Jewish Cemetery in Greenwich, Connecticut. Despite maps, row locations, the names of adjacent plots, and lots of determination, we could not find her memorial. This April, we relocated from Katona, New York to a Boston suburb, making spontaneous weekend searches impossible. But thanks to a cascade of events, we gained one more chance. We were staying with relatives in Stamford for a wedding reception. Over the weekend, we had lunch with Naomi's in-laws, the parents of her late husband, at the Beehive restaurant in Armonk, New York. On the way over, we drove on Riversville Road in Greenwich, and that sounded familiar. We looked at each other, and Naomi said, "We're very near the cemetery." We agreed to stop there for a third time to look around after lunch. "It's Shabbat," I said. "I'm feeling lucky." On the drive to Armonk, we listened to the audiobook version of the English crime novel, The Thursday Murder Club. Inspired by this book to slip into sleuth mode, I mused, what are we overlooking? We've been there twice and walked over the same sections repeatedly. Are we missing something? Back at the cemetery, appropriately enough, on memory lane, we reread instructions on where to find Valesca. We had struggled to reconcile maps, but that was a dead end. The best clue came from the cemetery administrator who wrote us that, according to our records, your grandmother is buried next to Fanny Liebert and Herman Schulman. The first grave in her row is Charles Oster. Well, none of the four were listed on findagrave.com, which is a great resource for finding graves. We split up to cover different sections. The names all sounded familiar from past searches. I had a sense of deja vu. We really had been here before. I realized I was looking mostly in family plots with multiple headstones rather than sections with individual or shared gravestones. My sleuthing was picking up a clue. Many had been placed since the 1990s, while Valesca had died in 1972. I shifted to an area that looked both older and populated with single gravestones. Was this where we had not been looking? Naomi, with the same instinct, headed for the same area. I scrutinized row after row until the name of Charles Oster jumped out at me at the end of a row. "Naomi, here's Charles Oster," I exclaimed. At the exact same moment, approaching me from the other end of the row, she exclaimed, "I found her gravestone." I raced over to the Schulman gravestone with Herman and Valesca on it. It badly needed cleaning to remove the lichens and weather stains that obscured the names and dates over the last half century. If we weren't looking directly at the gravestone, we could have easily missed it. I hugged Naomi as we gazed on the monument. Nobody had put rocks on it, as is the Jewish tradition. Naomi never knew of her father visiting there. I dusted it off the best I could while she fetched stones from the road. She placed them on top of the memorial, stones speaking for both the living and the dead. We recited the Jewish morning prayer, the Kaddish, which opens, "Glorified and sanctified be God's great name throughout the world, which he has created according to his will. May he establish his kingdom in your lifetime and during your days, and within the life of the entire house of Israel, speedily and soon," and say, Amen. The discovery, after so much frustration, deeply gratifies us. We found that missing piece. We now know the final resting place of Valesca, that resourceful woman who escaped the Nazis with her son Eric in June 1941 for Port Chester, New York. I've already read how to clean a gravestone, so now we have a reason to return to Stamford and the cemetery on memory lane, maybe at Thanksgiving. Then, as now, we will remember Valesca. Thank you.